Hello Gunners, welcome to another video, and of course I'm delighted. Another 3 points, another victory, another clean sheet. It's this Arsenal train just keeps on chugging along, and it is frustrating a lot of people. But before I do get into the video, if you are new here, please do hit the subscribe, smash the like as well. We've won. That's always a reason for you to hit that like. But yeah, I mean, we've got to start with the story, the set piece. Again, opening the scoring, and people will say, oh, Arsenal have scored another set piece, but they'll ignore the play that led up to the set piece. Calafiori and Trossard, the link up in between those left-hand side spaces was really, really good. I feel like Trossard was finding Calafiori's little underlaps. Calafiori was receiving on the turn really nicely, and we had some nice interchanges. And ultimately, if you force the play, if you get your players into these advanced positions, they're ultimately going to force a goal or a set piece, which we're really dangerous from. And in the end, the quality of the cross from Declan Rice was really, really good. And Gabriel Magalhaes heads it across. I don't know if it's him. I don't know if Calafiori gets the final touch, but it does end up going towards Gyokeres, and he's jolly on the spots poaching. That's exactly what you want to see from your centre forward in those areas and scoring. And it was a smart little finish from him, anticipating the ball coming to him. A lot of people be like, it's an easy finish, but you've got to get the timing of your movement right, the timing of your final action to put the ball into the net really right, and Gyokeres did so. So I was really happy for him, because I feel as though he had that rest in the week up against Brighton in the Cup, and people were like, Gyokeres, he's played a lot of minutes. I was one of them. He's played a 720 in like 920 minutes, and obviously he needed that rest, that opportunity to get back firing. And we can see what rest can do to a player, because I don't even think it was just a goal which was really impressive. I think his overall game was genuinely really impressive. The areas he was finding himself in, I mean, him involved for the goal that Declan Rice scored was excellent. The little daisy cutter-ish ball across to Trossard, who dinks it into Declan Rice, is exactly what you want to be seeing. And we saw a performance with a lot of variety. We saw him in a scoring position to get the goal. We saw him dropping in an area to receive and spread the play in transition, where we know he's very, very dangerous. We also saw him able to jostle with defenders, really force the issue, create that opportunity 1v1 for Saka. That was really, really good to see. And ultimately, Gyokeres can be an asset towards Arsenal if he's in those areas, if he's given enough rotation. Because ultimately, look, any player, doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to need a bit of rotation to get to your optimal levels. And I think Gyokeres having that little bit of rest, he got to the levels that we saw he can do week in, week out, and hopefully he can kick on. And I hear he got a bit of an injury coming off at half time, which would be such a shame, because it was a game I think, in my opinion, was his best ever performance in an Arsenal shirt. I really do think he showed everybody that he can do certain things and add certain things towards Arsenal, and I'm sure he's going to be very delighted with it. I'm sure Mikel Arteta will be delighted with that first half. And ultimately, when Gyokeres came off going into the second half, you could have simulated that whole second half. It was that sort of just get this clean sheet, get the win. There wasn't much control about it. You know, Burnley weren't really showing signs of greatness. Obviously, they hit the post, but again, it was a bit of a second half where if you simulated it, you wouldn't have missed anything. I think there was a nice little action in the middle from Ethan Nwaneri, a little turn, a little movement from him, and then an effort which was just wide. And of course, Norgard's effort where Marino flicked it towards him. But in terms of attacking quality in the second half, we really lacked, and obviously we got the job done. Sometimes, I've said this before, you're not going to see the best Arsenal now. You're going to see the best Arsenal when the Erdegaards, when the Havertzes are back, when they're in full flight and full flow. I feel as though we're going to see that version of Arsenal, which can empty grounds, make it 5-6-0, and that is okay. You know, sometimes you're just going to get through and get those wins, because we know how difficult the run is. And we've been so good in the previous run-ins. I'm not counting last season, but the 2 seasons before, if we exclude the one where we bottled it to Southampton, we were incredible in that run-in. And ultimately, our first half of the season, we weren't just grinding those wins, and ultimately it costed us the way that it cost us, you know, ultimately. So I don't really mind us just getting these wins on the board and nothing to write home about performances, because I know how difficult it can get in the running. And that gives me an opportunity actually to talk about somebody who was really impressive today. I think Declan Rice was really, really good for Arsenal in terms of winning the ball in the midfield, driving forward. I think he was just dominant in there. And you see in games like this, where not everyone is performing, like Saka had opportunities, he should have done better. 1v1, he wasn't great. You need another player to step up. I feel like Gyokeres was the one to step step up today, and I feel like Declan Rice as well was really, really good, and he's in positions to influence the game. He's scoring headers. That is the Declan Rice we absolutely love to see, and I've seen so much criticism about him lately for some reason, people saying he's not been performing, but these are the games in which he'll step up, you know, drag the team forward in a defensive sort of way, an attacking way as well. A really good header from him, and I'll be so happy about that, because one thing he wants to do and recognize is when to go forward and when to score goals, and he was in a position today to influence the game going forward. Trossard, a lovely little clip ball into him, and he headed it home. So it was really nice to see. And Trossard is another player, you know, a lot of people, me included, you know, I saw a comment in my last video talking about potential transfers, and I was talking about Trossard as someone who might leave next season. A lot of you were like, you know, don't start talking about players who are here and they're performing. And to be honest, I do get that point of view. I think Trossard was very good today, and I feel as though he was forcing the issue off the left-hand side. His link play with Calafiori was impressive. He was getting positions really skillful, bringing the ball down, looked quite strong up against Kyle Walker 1v1. Those are the things that you've got to look towards a player, you know. We've got to recognise that Trossard was only 20 odd million pounds, and the amount of goal contributions he gives us is more than, you know, made his buck. He's more than just a 20 million pound player. He's absolutely been so good for us, and won Premier League title and a Champions League as well, hopefully this season. And he's a cult hero. He's someone you could look back on and be like, yeah, there was that Trossard, you know. I don't know who it was in the eras of the Wenger times where, you know, Wiltord potentially was one of them, in terms of he wasn't a player that everybody was like, he's world class, should be starting every game, but he's a player everyone recognised had a really big impact in towards Arsenal winning the titles. And Trossard, if he keeps on going, he can make that left wing his own. I feel as though the competition is going to be crazy. Madueke, you're talking about other players like Eze. There is other players in there that, you know, we'll want that left wing spot, but Trossard, with the way he's playing, you can't really take that off him. I think as well in there, Timber looks strong 1v1. Really, really aggressive in his duels. I think Zubimendi showed his quality as well. A brilliant ball over the top for Trossard in the first half, and Trossard should have probably done a little bit better. Gabriel looks really strong in the centre half position. I mean, he's just performing to such a high level and contributing in both boxes. Raya didn't have much to do, and ultimately it's one of those games where it's been a lot of them, but you just don't remember it. You just say, yes, we won that game. Yes, we got through that game. Yes, we got another clean sheet. And that is what the best teams do. They get through these periods. And I know you want to see expansive football where we're putting 20 goals and 20 attempts in. I'm sure Mikel Arteta wants that too, but look at the injuries we've got. Look at sort of the amount of minutes our players have played. Look at, just get through these games. Just please get through these games and win them. And that's what we're doing. 7 points clear at the top. And now we have an opportunity to sort of now just sit back and watch what our other rivals do. You know, even United were proving to be a rival in a sense, but they drop points as well. If we can look at that, Liverpool play against Aston Villa. Maybe you see this video after that game, before that game. And then you're also looking at Manchester City against Bournemouth, a really tough game for them. So ultimately, a huge win for the Arsenal.